House of the Dragon is set to premiere in just a couple of weeks, and fans are beyond excited. Matt Smith, the House of the Dragon actor, has given a warning to everyone planning to see the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel. His role will enrage you. What is there to know about his assertion? Let's investigate. First up, we have Matt Smith's warning regarding his character in the House of the Dragon. In an interview with Empire, the actor who portrays Viserys' younger brother, Daemon Targaryen, on Doctor Who, discussed what he may anticipate from him and how his character would behave. On the show, the same actor plays Daemon Targaryen. Daemon is there to wreak havoc and upset people because it just entertains him, he said. Daemon's purpose is to cause havoc and irritate people. Furthermore, he referred to a fight between Daemon, played by Paddy Considine, King Viserys, played by Rhys Ifans, and Otto Hightower, the King's Hand. Daemon and Otto despise one another, he continued. They are stimulating one another to the point that it is irritating everyone. Paddy, the actor who portrays Viserys, is there in the center of it all. In this position, they're both competing for his affection and attention. Smith also suffered face injuries from a sword during rehearsals for a scene with his co-star Fabian Frankel. Frankel said that the incident occurred during the San Diego Comic-Con in 2022, but he provided no other details. Meanwhile, Paddy Considine's show colleague said that he took his duty as king very seriously and would not allow any of them to sit on the Iron Throne. They said that this demonstrated that he took the post seriously. During the play's Los Angeles premiere, the actors joked that Considine was a touch possessive of the throne. It seemed to belong to him, said Steve Toussaint, who portrays Lord Corlys Velaryon, Rhaenys' spouse in the drama. At one point I said to him, "You may sit on mine if I may sit on," since my character also has a throne, but it is nothing like as enormous as his. Following that, House of the Dragon leaders respond to Lord of the Rings head-on. Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik of House of Dragon discussed the planned Game of Thrones prequel, The Rings of Power, which will compete with Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings series. Amazon Prime will broadcast The Rings of Power, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The showrunners are huge fans of J.R.R. Tolkien and anticipate crossover between their respective fandoms. Condal has said that his goal is for both programs to succeed and have a sizable fan base. Larger and more expensive concepts broadcast on television are better for us viewers, since they generate more cash. Power rings must be in functional condition. Each episode will be seen in its entirety on the first night it is accessible. Sapochnik has the belief that The Lord of the Rings is largely regarded as one of the most successful intellectual properties. I've only watched The Hobbit, so I'm not sure what they altered, but whatever it was, it worked. Always strive to get more of everything you can. It has been 200 years after the event of the House of Dragon and Game of Thrones. George R.R. Martin's novel Fire and Blood served as the idea for this story. Daemon is enraged that Rhaenyra is chosen as Viserys' the first successor since he believes the realm is rightly his. During Comic-Con, Matt Smith, who portrays Doctor Who's companion, said that another cast member, Fabian Frankel, injured him with a sword when they were training. During the same Radio Times panel, he said that if he were king, he would make the show's hideous wigs illegal to wear. You could add some color to your hair if you wanted. Dealing with wigs was a headache. Next up, Game of Thrones creator will do a House of the Dragon cameo on one condition. George R.R. Martin's massive workload may prevent him from appearing in a future episode of House of the Dragon. The HBO Game of Thrones prequel series is based on the same author's novel Fire and Blood. It takes us back 200 years to when the dragon-riding Targaryen dynasty began to crumble. Martin was asked how probable it was he might appear in a scene at Comic-Con in San Diego one day. "I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't left my home much in the previous 2 years since COVID came out," he said. "You may be unaware, but I'm also working on a book. It's a bit late." Martin was discussing The Winds of Winter, the long-delayed 6th installment in his A Song of Ice and Fire series, which he subsequently said is his main priority right now. Then who knows, maybe I'll turn up if House of the Dragon is still functioning. I had a little role in Game of Thrones' initial pilot, but most of it was reshot, so I didn't make the final cut, he continued. In June, the author hinted that Paddy Considine's portrayal of King Viserys Targaryen in House of the Dragon made him stand out. Paddy Considine, who portrays King Viserys on the program, has wowed me. He imbues the character with a tragic grandeur that Viserys lacked in my novel. Paddy, Ryan Condal, and his writers, Miguel Sapochnik, and the other directors deserve praise, Martin informed us. Continuing, the release date for the House of the Dragon is as follows. When will the next spin-off of Game of Thrones begin airing? The former release of House of the Dragon is set for the 21st of August 2022 in the United States and the 22nd of August 2022 in the United Kingdom. It is scheduled to be shown on HBO in the United States and Sky Atlantic in the United Kingdom, where it will also be available to stream on Now. There will be a total of 10 episodes in the first season. Even if a second season has not been officially announced just yet, let's be honest here and say that it's quite probable, and we'll make sure to keep you informed on any new information as soon as we find out about it. Next up, we'll discuss the storyline of House of the Dragon. What exactly does the program focus on? House of Dragon events take place 250 years before the Game of Thrones and follow the Targaryen line. However, there aren't many details concerning the plot. The first teaser suggests a struggle for succession within the family, with Viserys the First designating Rhaenyra as his heir, despite Daemon's opinion that it should be him. Rhaenyra has been appointed as his successor. Gotta love plot-driving toxic masculinity. The Targaryen family's motto is Fire and Blood, which does not augur well for either the family or the country. Their strategy ensured that they would continue to rule an empire even if a considerable percentage of their family went insane in their pursuit of power. The Targaryen family is incestuous, since keeping a pristine lineage is required. George R.R. Martin's novel Fire and Blood blood has been adapted into a television series. Throughout the novel, civil war erupts inside the Targaryen dynasty, driving them apart. In the local folklore, the conflict is referred to as the Dance of Dragons. It's a nice prologue with a broader perspective than you may expect from anything of this kind. It's not only the Targaryens' past, we learn about the history of notable mansions as well as the beginnings of King's Landing. And there are so many connections of the main series that it's clear why HBO chose to continue the project. References to Lord of the Rings, watch for an Easter egg concealed by Gandalf, freshly added conflicts, and horrific depictions all imply that George was a horror writer in the past. One book has enough material for at least 10 seasons of television. Moving on. House of the Dragon trailer. Is there any footage? Yes, we have some video of what to anticipate, but as you would think, the crew is saving the best things for a little later on. A teaser that was released in May of 2022 provides us our first glance at the world before the events that take place in Game of Thrones. There are, as one would expect, a good number of badass dragons involved. In the video, Matt Smith's character Daemon is shown cradling a dragon's egg as he leads a group of troops to a meeting with Rhys Ifans' character, Otto, who seems to have some hostility against them. This is especially revealing when one takes into account the fact that Otto is the hand of the king, Viserys I, a member of Daemon's own family. Following Rhaenyra's coronation as Viserys' heir, it would seem that Daemon has his sights set on seizing the throne for himself. The possible queen is given this ominous piece of advice: men would sooner set the country on fire than watch a woman inherit the Iron Throne. It would seem that numerous players are prepared to sacrifice everything in order to etch their name into the annals of history in the hopes of leaving behind a lasting legacy. Let war start. Well, that marks the end of our show for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.